having problems and will call in. So we'll just wait and see. Don't know how you're going to record that, but anyway, so we'll get started. So in attendance today we have Lindsay Maindonald, Hayley Old, who's our Community Development Advisor. We've got Mayor Phil Nixon, Councillor Steffy Mackay, Sonya Douds. We've got Samantha Greenhill, who is our Governance and Support Officer. We've got Dagg, Group Manager of Environmental Services, and myself. So good morning everyone. Just a reminder please to say your name when you're speaking, moving and seconding, and yeah, so we will get started on our agenda. So there are no apologies and we have no one for open forum that I'm aware of. Is that correct, Sam? Okay, so just going to move things over here. Okay, so on our agenda we have the board minutes from our previous meeting. So I'll make the recommendation that we adopt these minutes from the meeting held on the 28th of February. Would someone like to move that, please? State your name.
I'll move that, Lindsay Maindonald.
Thank you. And a seconder?
Sonya Douds.
Thank you. So we're all satisfied that these are a true and correct record? I'll take that as a yes. Okay, so all in favour, please state your full name.
Lindsay
Sonya
Maindonald.
Douds.
Okay, thank you.
Steffy Mackay.
Thank you. Against? Abstentions? And carried. Right, thank you. Right, so our next report within the agenda is the discretionary funding applications. So we have the recommendation that we receive the funding report. So we'll move that. Someone to move, please.
Councillor Steffy Mackay.
Seconder, I'll second that. So I did want to pick up that the funds for the wreaths, that they are from Chair's discretion. It's on page 16 and page 19 that the wreaths are mentioned, but it doesn't say Chair's discretion, which is what they are. So do we remove this part of the report, Sam? Or do we go to the funding applications then move the whole thing?
So you've received the report and now you just need to consider your funding application.
Okay, cool. So our first funding application is from the Eltham RSA. So this is one has actually been withdrawn. So we will move past that one. And we have the second one, which is from the Community Board ourselves, and that is to provide new signage for the walkway at Soldiers Park. So it does say previously Soldiers Park on page, where are we, page 16, but I'd just like to clarify it's actually, there's two separate signs. One which was funded a little while ago for the park itself, and this one which we're funding is specifically for the walkway. Okay, so that little bit's incorrect within that. Okay, so good discussion. Anyone want to make a recommendation? Steffy?
Okay, I'd like to recommend that we approve the funding for the signage for the walkway. It'll just tidy it all up, and we were very fortunate to get gifted that name from the local iwi for the walkway. So it'd be really nice to start proudly pronouncing that in our park, visible to all users.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a move, isn't it, Sam?
Yes.
Yep, okay, awesome. Okay, so would somebody like to second that?
Sonya Douds.
So are we all in favour with that? Put forward the motion that we receive this. All in favour, please state your name.
Sonya Douds,
Lindsay Maindonald.
Steffy, Mackay.
Okay, and so it's all in favour and nobody's against, and so that would be carried. Cool, that'd be awesome to get that on its way. Well, it's already on its way. We just, yeah. Right, okay, so our next item on our agenda is items for action. Any comment about any of these items here? So the Soldiers Memorial Park, that sign in there is the walkway. No, that is the park sign, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, because it does say faded pathway sign, but it's actually faded park sign.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit confused in there because it's, yeah, the original one that we put that funding aside for back in 2018 was actually for the park itself. So,
For you, Madam Chair, considering we've got a reduced items for action, I'm wondering if it was appropriate if we could add something into that. And something we've been working on for years is the Taylor Street dog park fencing. And it's only got a little bit to complete, and I just wondered if we could put that up on the items for action so we can actually keep sort of an eye on it in the interest of getting that completely fully fenced for all the dog users, safety for the dogs. So because we have never quite completed it, this has been going on for quite a few years.
yeah, I know when Claire was our development advisor, she had written letters out and to all the people that were on the boundary of the Taylor Park that didn't have fencing. So that was going to be a little while ago. So they have been approached initially, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I think one or two took that up and the others haven't. There's only a couple now that aren't fully fenced.
Yes, just for you, Madam Chair, so if we've only got a couple that need fencing, what do we need to do to actually have a fully enclosed dog park area? Just feedback from users is, they love it and it's local, but they wish it was more secure like the Hara one. And some of them travel to Hara for that reason, for the safety of their dogs, that they can't get through fences and that. So, yeah.
Yep.
Just one other thing, through you, Chair, or you may be able to answer. Soldiers Memorial Park, the celebration for its 100-year anniversary, that is the 100 years of the park, and when is that?
It has been.
Oh, when was that?
That was, I believe it was 2018.
Oh.
Can
Can we update items for action then, please?
Yeah.
So when that was when Marie was chair, and she is involved with Historical Society, of course. So yeah, she was aware that it was its 100-year anniversary that 2018. I believe it was November or something in that year. So we wanted the signage because it's had faded so badly in the park to be renewed.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, just through you, Karen. The local security cameras for Kaponga. I talked to Dagg from Central Safe last week, and we had organised the Kaponga Lions to be the legal entity to apply for the security cameras, and it's actually come back from TET that Lions are not allowed to apply for that funding, so we have to find another legal entity. We're working through that with the Kaponga Progressive Group to do that, but then it would not be able to apply for a year because it needs to be registered for at least a year. And we're sort of struggling to come up with something else where it sits appropriately, because obviously there is the issue of then the ongoing maintenance and funding that. So it sort of sits within the Progressive Group, but also just Steffy's warning and being mindful that we, if we do that, we're then taking ownership of those cameras and whether that's appropriate for that group. So we're just working through all of that.
Cool.
That's disappointing news that it can't go through the lines. Yeah.
So just through you, Chair, who took over that part of it for Eltham? Who was the legal entity in Eltham?
It was the business association, isn't it, Steffy?
Yes, that's correct. And they got a different purpose for their business structure, aligned to fitting with the criteria for the camera ownership.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
I hope a solution can be found somewhere.
Yeah, we really need it out here. There's been lots of theft lately. Sorry, my computer's dinging.
Yeah. Right, so if there's no further comment on those, we will move forward. So our next report is the Community Development Activity Report. Our recommendation is that we receive this report. So would someone like to move that, please?
Councillor Steffy Mackay.
And a seconder.
Sonya Douds.
Any discussion on the report?
Through you, Madam Chair, tomorrow I'm going to be having a Zoom meeting with the youth, going through their visions on the town revitalisation plans, and so it'd be good to get some youth input. That's going to be fun. I haven't seen them for ages, so they're going to appear on the big screen in their classroom. But yeah, no, that'll be cool. Be nice to have a balanced view about just, often we only have the more elderly people interested in giving feedback. So looking forward to what they might bring to the table.
Definitely. Youth often have some crazy, brilliant ideas.
Yeah.
Just through you, Chair, that's brilliant, Steffy. Good on you organising that, because it is what we're trying to design is a town for the future, and it enhances for the future, and it is their future. So that's really good.
Thank you, Mia. Phil?
I'm super excited to see that the Ben Hurley comedy show is booked for the 15th of July. I'm assuming there will be restrictions in place of some description, being that it's an indoor event, but I'm really excited about that. And the possibility of a drive-in movie. I mean,
yeah,
it's fun. It's cool. Everything's been sort of dialed back, so it's nice to see something going forward. Sorry, Phil.
Yeah, so you, Chair, you're right. That is really good to see those going ahead. Well, hopefully we do get the drive-in. So is there any work being done on that? Is that going to be a family type movie or a kids type? What's sort of the thought there, Hayley?
Yeah, so they're looking at a family style movie, potentially on a Friday night, so that they can bring their dinner and or grab food while they're there from a food vendor, and come down as a family event. Yeah.
And venue?
They originally looked at Tomato Park, but it's not looking like that's going to work, so potentially Soldiers Park.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very good.
Any further comment here?
Just for you, Madam Chair, I was just thinking if they're successful, so say we're going to hold 2 of them, have one in Opunake as well, it might be something we actually go ahead in the future with, and you know, doing something different. We don't always have to do like for like.
Good point.
Did we have any dates for that, Hayley? Do we have any sort of tentative dates for the drive-in movie idea?
No, not yet. They're just trying to work out dates at the moment. Yeah. Got to work it out with winter sports and stuff coming up. So yeah, she's just trying to sort out some dates.
So would that be something that would be able to go where even with the weather was inclement, raining? Or would the movie thing be enclosed? I mean,
so there is the guy from TLL in New Plymouth who does the screens. He's hoping to get a screen that you can do if it is raining, but yeah, that's going to be up to the events team on whether they want to run it in the rain, because we don't want to wreck the fields as well.
I was going to say, I suppose you would have
Yeah.
problems with
She's pretty wary of that sort of stuff, so yeah.
Cool. So we'll put forward the motion that we receive this report. All in favour, please state your name.
Lindsay Maindonald.
Sonya Douds.
Steffy Mackay.
Against? Abstentions? And carried. Thank you. Right, our next report is the District Library Plus report for February and March. I'll put for the recommendation that we receive this report. Would someone move this, please?
Yep, I will.
Do we have a mover, Lindsay, and a seconder, Sonya? Thank you. So any discussion here?
Just through you, Chair, I seem to say this now nearly every community board meeting. Just the innovation that the Library Pluses are coming out with, I think, is great. With, you know, like we've talked about their home delivery and that, but I see now they're actually getting board games that they can lend out to people and that. So yeah, it's fantastic what they're doing. They're serving the community in far more than what libraries ever were, that's for sure. And through these trying times. So yeah, big ups to that crew at the libraries. They're doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely. And I was just going to say, I seem to say the same thing. Kath's conclusion to her report is another good one. Someone saying, I don't know what I'd do without the library. I love everything you do and it makes me a better parent. I mean, that's so cool. People are really appreciating all the work that they're putting into everything they do.
Okay, Sonya Douds.
Yes, Sonya.
Just wondering if anyone had put any thought into, or whether anyone would agree with the new rates coming out, and for a lot of residential people there'll be quite a significant increase, and with the library staff being the face of the council, whether there's been any thought about any conflict resolution, or, you know, like some people may come in and be slightly abusive to the staff. I don't know, I'm just bringing it up as a potential question, and whether, you know, they've been given some training with some skills and dealing with that.
I couldn't. Do you know, Phil or Sam? Anyone?
Just through you, Chair, I couldn't comment on what is being talked about, anything in particular on this. Obviously, there is always ongoing discussions with our frontline staff as to how they need to look after themselves, and especially in the light of what happened down at Horowhenua last week. I did talk to Wade about that, and he's had another talk with staff on that. So, I mean, certainly those things happen, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting what does come out with this one, because, you know, in what we're seeing so far, we're not looking at a big across the district rate increase, but there will be variations, and the variations will be because your property is gone up and worth a lot more money. And so that gets a real hard one. Do you cream it because it's worth a lot more and then have to pay some more rates, or would you sooner it's not worth much and you pay less rates? It is going to be a hard one, because people that, you know, love where they live and have no intention of selling it, all it actually does is put another burden on them, but they've also got to realise that it has increased the value. So it's a tricky one, because it's certainly, you know, in what we did put for year 2 of our long-term plan, we're certainly going to be having a striking a lot less rate value than what was put into that. So for us, we're doing the right thing, but at the end of the day, what comes on that piece of paper, council gets the blame for, regardless of how it ended up there. So it's going to have to be really good comms, which has already been talked about quite a bit in council, that will come out with the rates, and you know, it has already started, and it will continue. But I mean, valid point, Sonya, because it is the front line that get blamed for everything at times, which is absolutely not fair, the old shooting the messenger thing.
Mm.
Yeah, Lindsay, the irony of that is that no sooner have they gone and our values have all shot up in value, but now, and because the valuation people have come out, probably worked on already, and now they're saying that the properties are massively dropping. So this is from Auckland right across the board. Our properties are actually going to go back down. So Mayor Phil, I think that one thing that they probably need to take into consideration for what Sonya said was that, and it's a very, I don't envy the position, because you're trying to look at a rate value on what the rateable value is, but now we are hearing that there's going to be a massive property decrease. So of course, where does the council set the rates at? Because by the time the rates come out, the properties may have gone back down. I mean, this is a thing over the years. You see, they go up and then they go back down again, and they, you know, it's a really. So I'd be picking that. That'd be one point that people certainly will be watching and discussing, and as I said, I don't envy the council, because you haven't got a crystal ball to see what they're actually going to end up as a level playing field. But we're on the roller coaster.
Yeah, you're right, Lindsay. And I mean, like you said, that does happen sort of year in, year out. But what we are set with through quotable value is whatever they come out with. And so now we're locked with that for the next 3 years. But where each individual does then have the right, they have got to, no, I better not quote a date. I did read it somewhere recently, but they have got a period where they can appeal their rates increase based on their property value. So everyone does have an individual opportunity if they feel that they have been, you know, aggrieved in any way because their property isn't possibly worth that value. So everyone has got that opportunity, but we can only work within the laws of what we set as a rate and then what they have set as the property value for that to be based on.
Oh, yes, that's what I was saying. The quotable values I was trying to think of here. The quotable values have already bought a figure out, but by the time they get it out, it's already gone back down. That's what we're hearing. So that is and of course the ratepayers like myself or you, Phil, or anybody, will get one. But you first of all, the thing you'll ask, well, is this the true value now? It was now, but in a few months' time it won't be. So yeah, I do understand exactly how they. Yeah, it's the quickest I've actually seen it drop back down probably in a few years that I've lived my life, that it's gone straight up and then it's going to go straight back down again, which is, as I said, we're on a roller coaster with it. You don't usually see that. So, okay. And I think it's because it was such an inflationary thing. It just went up and up and up.
All right. Yeah. All right. Cool. Thank you. Good discussion there. So any further comment on the report? No? All good? I'll put forward the motion that we received that one. All in favour, please state your first name, or your full name, sorry.
Lindsay Maindonald.
Thank you.
Sonya Douds.
Steffy Mackay.
Right. Against, abstentions, and carried. Thank you. So our next report is the Environmental Services Activity Report. Our recommendation that we receive this report. Would someone move that, please?
Yep, I will, Lindsay.
Thank you. And a seconder?
Steffy, Mackay.
Thank you. Leon, did you have any comment there?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. Just happy to make, I guess, a few comments. There's a couple of highlights in there. I guess firstly, it's 2 months worth of data, so it's February, March, pretty current. Same, we've just got out of March and into April. I guess one of the highlights is the fact that building consent volumes are on the increase again. We've sort of had a significant increase in numbers from, I guess, the traditional low of sort of January. What's been pleasing about that is that I guess our statutory compliance timeframes are moving along with that, and that's been really good to see the team sort of responding to the increase in workload. So I guess the statutory compliance is up in the 80 percentiles again. You know, aspirations to get it back to 100, but it's certainly a lot better space than where we were, you know, a couple of months ago. Probably also worth noting that the value of building works increased, particularly, you know, sort of March. And I asked the planning and development manager what might have been behind that, and there's I think a $2 million Mackay upgrade that's sort of influencing that jump up in value of building works. Again, Hara and Opunaki are I guess the main centres, particularly for new housing. That doesn't seem to be decreasing. Just in terms of some of our compliance around notices to fix and dangerous building notices, where, as you can see on the table, the tables have shrunk a bit, but pretty much against every item, we've initiated some sort of legal action on the slow learners. We're pretty much meeting sort of weekly with our legal team at the moment as we move through that. Just in terms of resource consents, again, pretty strong numbers. I guess there was a question raised by Sonya at the last community board round, and we haven't reflected it in the words on the report, but we have done some work on lot yields in terms of subdivisions and what that actually represents in the number of new lots. So of the 23 subdivisions across the 2 months, it actually represents 113 new lots, with 48 of those in the residential zone and 65 in the rural. So, you know, that's sort of an indication of the trends that we've been seeing. The next community board agenda item will actually have that sort of represented, and hopefully by locality. So the team are working on that. Probably, yeah, the animal control stats are still an ongoing conversation about how we address some of the spikes that we're seeing there. You know, Hara is still a problem child for me around the numbers of roaming dogs in particular. So we're working on that, and I think at the last round of community boards, particularly Partia, we started sort of talking fairly openly about the need for a bylaw review. So that's certainly sort of where our focus is at the moment. I've also, again, I guess asked the regulatory team just to start thinking about how what our resolution sort of profile looks like around, you know, fly tipping and abandoned vehicles, and we've got the stats, the stats in that space, and we'll be reporting on that in the next round meeting. And it's interesting to see, you know, what we are resolving, particularly around abandoned vehicles with infringements and impoundments and the like. Not as good a news story in the fly tipping space, where we're basically deploying staff to go out and clean them up. We haven't had any luck over February or March to bring anything to an infringement or legal action. The evidence just hasn't been there, but we'll be reporting on that. Yeah, as I said, in the next community round agendas. Probably just finish to finish on some good news items. Rebecca's team, the environment sustainability team, you know, got a heap of work going on. The organic waste feasibility studies in the final throes are being finalised, and there's workshops being scheduled with elected members in iwi. I'm pretty sure that's next month, or yeah, sort of May, June. I can't recall what's just been sort of going through the timetabling at the moment. But as you can see, just in the conclusion of Rebecca's section there, there's a lot of statutory reform happening across the park, but quite a bit in the sustainability space. So yeah, that's a couple of highlights. Happy to take any questions, Madam Chair.
Yeah, just a couple of things, Liam. I did note with interest that Eltham likes to be the warmest place in Taranaki with 9 log fires, just about double, or else people think it's a freezing cold here. I don't know, but that was quite amusing. But the other thing was, yeah, I did look at that roaming dog thing. I was quite alarmed at that too. Is that, and do you know whether that's differentiation between night and day? Is it more so at night time? That those roaming dogs, because that is actually quite a you know, alarming thing. What dogs roaming, you know, and the type of dogs these days. Do you know whether that's more prevalent at night, or is it?
Through the chair, we can whether it's more prevalent at night. We can certainly break that down. I guess most of the I guess the splits that we look at is the weekend versus weekend versus weekday. But I guess the roaming numbers just on I guess when CRMs sort of appear in my inbox, most of them are sort of during the day, but we can certainly come back and report on that. I think particularly for Hara, which has been I guess a bit of a hotspot for quite some time now. We're probably at that point where we need to drill down into what streets are the problem areas, as well as what you've just said, Lindsay, in terms of is it weekday versus weekend? Is it you know, during the day, or you know, when people knock off from work, or night time? And we may find some differences across the townships as well. So yeah, that's certainly where we're going to be taking those stats next.
And can these people be, I guess the dog can be impounded or fined, because surely with those sort of numbers, if people start hitting their pocket, then that's going to reduce. I mean, that is a big number, even for Hara. You know, that's a big. I haven't got my, because I can't get into the agenda, but the number of roaming dogs was pretty high. I was, you know, are people fined? I mean, most dogs they all have to be registered in that these days, don't they?
Yeah, correct. And through the chair, you know, where the dog can be located and put to a home address, infringements and impoundments are, you know, some of the tools that we use there. But it depends if we can locate the dog. Some of these reports are phoned in, you know, we deploy staff, dog can't be located. So again, similar, the resolution profile is something that we'll be reporting on.
Good.
Any further comment or questions for Liam?
So just through you, Chair, just a couple of comments. Good to see those stats going up, Liam, in statutory timeframes. That's really good. But really heartening to see what is going on in our whole district. When you look at over those 2 months, there's just slightly north of $21.5 million worth of building going on. Between the 2 months, 8 building consents in Hara, 8 in Opunaki, 1 in one in Patia. You know, it's really good stuff happening throughout the district. Amazing what's happening. So yeah, it's exciting times for us.
All right. If there's any further
just for you,
yeah.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to congratulate you for a good report. It's always interesting reading. Thank you, Liam. And my highlight was actually the building of the momentum that the environmental and sustainability team are getting behind their various projects and that. So yeah, and good luck with their submission to transform our recycling and get it uniform across our whole motto. So that would be great. I'm looking forward to some more great feedback from that space. Thank you.
Thanks, Steffy.
All right, then I'll put forward the motion that we receive this report. All in favour, please state your name.
Lindsay,
Sonya Douds.
Steffy, Mackay.
Against, abstentions and carried. Thank you. So the next report we've got is facility usage. So we have the recommendation that we received this report. Would someone like to move that, please?
Councillor Steffy, Mackay.
I'll second it just for fun. Any discussion on the report in there?
Through you, Madam Chair, I see we've got 100% occupancy at Kaponga now in our pensioner flats. That's good. And just a question I had, like, so I see the Eltham Community Centre is all in grey.
hey,
Sold. So I was just wondering, is that going to end up coming off our graph?
You're in.
Mute yourself, Ellen, please. Sorry.
We did it. Can you put that down?
Yeah, you want to join?
I don't want to move that and cause you any problems.
All right, good. Okay, go ahead, Steffy. Sorry.
Just page 49, I see our Eltham Community Centre, which would have been the municipal building, is all in grey. So it's just really a, a question is, does that end up being removed shortly from our actual information report, since we're no longer owners? That's a question.
You would think it would be. We, like you say, we no longer owners of the building. So, Sam, do you know?
I'll have to follow up with Alicia on that one. She does that report.
Okay, thank you. Any further comment on the report there? No? All right, so I'll put forward the motion that we receive the report. All in favour, please state your name.
Lindsay Maindonald.
Sonya Douds.
Steffy, Mackay.
Did you want to say your name, Ellen? Okay, against, abstentions and carried. And that is the end of our agenda, so therefore the end of our meeting. So thank you everybody for your attendance today. I'm pleased you got in, Alan.
This is my private one.
And we'll close the meeting. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chair. Hayley,
Thank
have you got
you.
a minute to stay online, please?